And welcome back to TerraFirmaCraft. So I've been doing quite a bit of expedition nighting, whatever you want to call it. We left off with me teleporting to Bay Spring, and rather than go straight south, I went this way. I found some kaolinite. I mined up a good amount of that. Most of it's in my barrel. Found some other stuff along the way, a lot of coal and stuff. This is all chalk. Then I found an interesting shale biome that kind of goes like this, and would presumably go off to this direction here, and then of course it intersects with the gneiss layer that we actually noticed last time. And the gneiss layer, interestingly enough, there's this gabbro intrusion, so the gneiss layer must be this big southern one. The gabbro appears to be off to the what is that, west, shale off to the east, and then if you go farther south we ran into limestone. So that's where I am now. Found quite a few trees and stuff. I think I have probably a lot of these trees, like almond and green apple. I don't remember whether I have or not. Lemon and cherry, but I got them just in case. Banana, because I don't remember which ones I have, which ones I don't, and I'm gonna need to take a look at that before I decide to ditch them. I got some chalk dirt. I really, if I were smart, and you know what I'm gonna do? I have precious little inventory space left, and I'm gonna just get rid of those non-full stacks there. I made it to this little island here, and I wanted to show you this because this is the magic point in the altitude of the map where we get reeds. Reeds are an extremely important thing for this. Sorry, and so should I take my boat back? I guess. Reeds are paper, among other things. There we go. That should be enough to get a little reed farm started. By the way, I have to say this limestone sand looks a lot more like real sand than some of the darker sand, so that's just something to keep in mind. If we want to make like real, like sandy beach sand, we should use limestone sand. But yeah, so I wanted to finish doing just maybe I have one, maybe I could probably carve out another little space in my inventory. But I wanted to bring you in for part of the expedition here because, first of all, I feel like we're not going to be on it for very much longer in light of in light of the fact that we are running out of inventory space, and B, because I think it's a good way to start the episode. I don't do enough exploring on camera with you guys, so I'm going to try to grab a stack of limestone stones while I'm going here. So the reason being is I kind of want to try out limestone brick. I think that when you contrast that with chalk, it's going to be a lot yellower and grittier, and yeah, I think it'll be a nice way to highlight something. You know, I was thinking about castles, and specifically I was thinking about Game of Thrones, because Season 7, Episode 1 just aired last night. By the way, if you haven't checked out Preston Jacobs' video, he does these super sarcastic reviews of Game of Thrones episodes, and it's hilarious. Okay, let's get rid of... I hate to get rid of sticks, but I only got 2. Okay. Anyway, he does these great videos of Game of Thrones episode reviews, and they're hilarious, and they basically just make fun of some of the inconsistencies and little things that the episode could do better. I've been picking up bismuth, by the way, nuggets, just because I need that to make bismuth bronze and some other things back home, and I kind of want to have a little head start before I have to come mine it. I'm sure I will anyway, though. I'm eating my food in the order of whatever has roughly the least quantity first, in the hopes of clearing out inventory space. Let's just keep my eyes open for some more water. But it does look like oh yeah, we're still heading south. The limestone, I'm sorry, the shale comes down. You can see it, and has a little intrusion, and it turns back into limestone. So the border appears to be kind of diagonal there. Limestone's a great biome. Shale is actually somewhat similar as far as mineralogy goes. It's actually only slight. Oh, rich business. Actually, you know, I'm really half tempted to mine up a stack of this. Oh, there's some. Okay, and then what we'll do is we'll just take one more, and then we will move on. I am so low on inventory space, though, so I really, really the point of me moving on at all is not for the purpose of getting more stuff. At this point, moving on is for the purpose of figuring out where the biome changes a little bit. I'm going to throw the shovel away. Because in TerraFirmaCraft, there is a point where forests give way to plains, and we start to see chickens and things like that, and other animals. And so far, I haven't found a southern passage on land yet. So, you know, I think the fact that there are cows here is a good sign. Let me see what rock type this is under the rock here. My pro pick is almost about to die too, so if I wanted to get one more inventory slot, I would just use... Oh, it's schist. That's a graphite bearing stone. So this mountain could have graphite in it, but it does not look like we're seeing any right on the surface unless this is something. What is that? Galena, okay. So we'll mark that. And then I'm just going to move on. I could explore this mountain all day. Mountains tend to be a rich source of potential minerals because they are up in the air and they have things exposed and whatnot. This particular mountain, I'm sure, is fascinating, but I've seen so many, and given that we're in a limestone biome and we're far from home, I don't really want to make this mountain the focus of my attention, and I just kind of want to stay focused on getting south. And we are now getting a little bit more lag as we continue farther south. Oh, but I see our first horses, and that is a good sign. That means that it is, as you can see, the air just feels warm. It's no longer damp and warm, which is what it used to be. And the fact that it's warm at all is something that's new for us, I think. But let's mark these horses. We're not going to... Ooh, it looks like one might have died before we got here.
Oh well. We'll still mark them on the map. Just so you know, I already got some of these reeds earlier, so I'm not picking them up right now. But we'll be using those in the near future. Unfortunately, these horses, they're both female, so we can't breed them, but we can get them, and I'm sure we'll find other male horses throughout our journey.
But the fact that they're horses means that we are certainly transitioning into the warmer regions of the map. And as I alluded to earlier, the warmer regions tend to be quite a bit drier. As a matter of fact, if you happen to generate far enough south, and you're in a biome with dry grass versus, you know, whatever type of grass, you know, regular grass, you have a dilemma because you're not going to have clay like this. Clay only forms in regular grass biomes. Okay, so this is interesting here. This means we have reached the acacia tree line. More bismuth. The acacia tree line is a staple of any TFC map. It is the division between north and south in many ways. Also, it is a new tree type, so I suppose I could get some. I might as well while I'm here. It's going to be a while until I come back. What this also tells me, however, is that we've missed the traditional... Ooh, what are those? The traditional boundary between... is it celery? Yeah, okay. Celery must grow really far south. Ooh, that's neat. That must be coal or something up there. But anyway, normally there's a big old field with an open field, and we didn't have that. We had a progressively drier and warmer climate, certainly, but usually there's a big open field with no trees, I mean, I don't know if it's programmed that way or if it's results as conditions change or whatever, but it's something that we usually do get a taste of, and we didn't get it in this particular map yet. I do need to cut down some of the acacias, so let me just cut this one real quick. You gotta be a little bit cautious doing this because you tend to cut a bazillion trees all at once. Oh boy. You don't get saplings from acacia, so don't even try. They're just ubiquitous, though. They're so common down here. These are all acacia, and they have a ton of wood, so, you know, don't worry about the saplings. The only inconvenient thing about it is it makes them non-transportable. Okay, so I'm coming up here on a field, and this is what I was talking about. This, oh, look at that mountain. That is gotta be the tallest mountain I've come across so far in the game. Now this field is what I was referring to earlier when I said there's a place where there's no trees. But this mountain is so cool that I want to go up there and mark it. Okay, I think we've made it. I think we are at the top of the mountain. Or we will be soon. This is probably the tallest mountain I've come across. We've got the cloud level up there. So we're really pretty much on the top of the world here. Oh, look at that forest burn. That's so cool. The acacia forests tend to burn a lot because there's so much wood fuel for them to use. We're going to mark this as Mount Nagel. Mount Nagel. There we go. Okay. Excellent name. So we call this Mount Nagel, and that is right by the acacia line, and then we have the field. So we're going to go explore the field now. The field is an important place, and it is, like I said, a distinctive TFC feature. It is a strip of land that's anywhere from apparently 0 to quite a few coordinates wide, and it has things that are important in it, namely chickens, sometimes horses, sometimes fruit trees. We will have to come back for the chicken once we start our metal working with iron. Okay, so I kind of want to follow the shale line because then I can keep collecting these little shale rocks until I have a full stack. I really do like the shale texture. Galena, as I've mentioned before, used to get lead primarily, but you can also extract silver using the Uteri mod and a very convoluted process that doesn't give you that much silver, which makes you want to say, why would I ever do this? Why don't I just spend more time looking for actual silver? A very fair question. Okay, we do have some more kaolinite. I've already mined enough for this expedition, so I'm not going to mine any, but good to know where it is in case I establish a base or something down here. And that is going to be pink. I always do pink for minerals, non-ore minerals. Okay, so we're getting the ox. What I'd like to do is find a chicken. And then what I think I'll do is some meta stuff, and I'll do it with you on camera this time versus off camera. What I mean by that is I've determined that I need to create some rules. I am fast and loose with the rules on this LP. I fly occasionally, I fast travel, and I am not the type of person that just wants to cheat all the time, so okay, well, what a beautiful sunrise, huh? So south is that way, so I am missing the acacia line. I think I'm going to go this way, though, through these mountains. I think I'm going to call this the valley or something. The Valley of... Mist Valley? Is that too cliche? Because it was a little bit misty right before the sun rose. Mist Valley, there it is. Is that a brand of something? Is that like a wine cooler or something? Arbor mist is probably what I'm thinking there. This is going to be saltpeter. Very cool. Definitely interested in getting some of that. Let's see, though. Tell you what, I'm going to eat the rest of my strawberries and get some of this saltpeter. Tempted to put vein miner in here. One thing that I've seen in other LPs is, and I think you have to work with the configuration file, but maybe once you get to the Iron Age, allowing vein miner to go, because it makes a little bit of logistical sense to have better ability to mine quickly when you have better equipment. So I don't know, I'll think about that. I do want to explore ways of increasing my capacity to do stuff quickly. Got 63. Thought I had 64. I guess this will be 64. Oh, shoot. Okay, there we go. Okay, so we've got a full stack of saltpeter. I've marked it on the map. Could probably come back here and get a stack pretty easily, honestly. But that'll be enough to experiment around a little bit. Is that just spruce trees? I think so. So that's north. So let's head south. Look at that. These are some cool mountain formations. I'm guessing that there is a marked difference in how the game code does topography in this area. Not only are there no trees, but the mountains are just insane. And I don't know enough about coding to be able to look it up, but what is this? Yeah, it's dacite, okay. Well, let's take a look over here. I think this episode is just going to be solely me wandering around the wilderness. So hopefully that's fun. I do try to mix it up. Like, I do like to have building episodes, and I like to have technology episodes, and I like to have exploration episodes, and exploring in TFC is delightful. It is one of the best things about it. It's a lot of fun. You're always finding stuff. Yeah, so this is where we've been, and that is so cool. This is the field that I was talking about. So we are going to head back a little bit south and see if we can catch the tree line, the acacia line. I do need water. Water is much harder to find in this area, so you do want to keep that in mind. I'm trying to also brainstorm what the sigil of my culture, my castle is going to be. Like, what is the banner going to have on it? And if you look historically, there were a lot of them used flowers. So a flower wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Like, you know, Game of Thrones is based on a real conflict between two British houses, and each house had a flower, so it's called the War of the Roses. I had a white rose and a red rose. Pretty cool thing. More coal here. But, you know, we could do other things. We could do a lion. We could do a dragon. We could do a book or an owl or something to mark wisdom. You know, there's just different options. I should maybe make a boat. I don't want to, but I really probably should. Alright. Okay, so let's hop in the boat. Head south. You can walk through the forest. I do it often, but it is more time consuming and certainly more treacherous. So if you have a chance to use a boat to go around the acacia forest, you can easily do so, and it's probably the right move. Now you see, look at this. Here is more of the field biome, and not the acacia forest biome. It's weird. And then we got that little island over there. What's that about? I mean, there's just so much to take in, and I just don't know what's important. And that looks like it's going to be a dead end if I go down that. I guess I'll keep going this way. And then I'll take a right as soon as I can. I may be out of luck with the boat. I think I am. Although we are in a new rock type here. Look at that. Let's see what it is. Shale. Going to basalt. Oh, basalt. Okay, well that's important because basalt is the first rock type that we've come across that has hematite, which is the red colored whatchamacallit, iron ore. And that's, I mean, that's not so important, but it's important because it represents, well, it's what we're going to use to do red food, dye, red dye. It's also extremely easy to spot on the ground. So if you're in a basalt biome, it's pretty easy to contrast the red with the dark basalt color. Okay, so we're gonna have to look around for it quite a ways, but at least we know where the biome is that has it. So that was worth it, just that alone. And unfortunately, I'm still heading east, aren't I? I need to head south. I need to force myself to head south because I'm still looking for chickens. That's the one thing that I'd really like to find before I end this episode. I just wish I had more carrying capacity. TFC2, by the way, for anybody interested, is doing a encumbrance system, which I don't know if it's going to be on top of the current kind of inventory system, or if it's going to be an alternative with some compensation to carry more quantity but less weight or something like that. But it's based on weight, and so we'll have to see how it works with the current crafting grid, kind of whatever you can fit in your backpack kind of style. So that's something, and it is not yet implemented. I've seen some preview videos and stuff, but actually Grimcore, who I've mentioned on this playthrough before, does excellent TFC2 preview videos. It is kind of depressing to play a game that is not anywhere close to being released yet, because all you can do so far is a very limited number of functions. And frankly, it makes you think, well, TFC1 is better in some ways. And in some ways it is. Ultimately, though, I guess TFC2 has more potential because it's still something that people are working on and actively trying to make better, whereas TFC1 is now basically a dead project. Don't shoot me. Oh, and we got a new rock. Oh, rock salt. Found rock salt. Rock salt is extremely important. It is your source of salt in the game, at least without TerraFirmaCraft. With TerraFirmaCraft, I think you can make ocean sea salt. Or is that cooking with TFC that added that? Either way, it's also a source of fertilizer, a source of borax, a source of gypsum. It's probably the best sedimentary rock in the game. And it is no hematite here, but you'll find the other two iron types. I am going to probably do some editing of this, but hopefully we're going to finish coming out the south side of this forest. And the sun is rising, so that's good. And yes, there is going to be a south side of the forest. It is not indefinite forest. Ooh. Yeah. Let's make another boat. Anyway. Why not? These acacia ones are so easy because you just have basically unlimited wood resources. Well, let's make the boat. Okay. And let's just put the rest of these logs in a pile. And we'll finish actually crafting this thing at a later date and time. Mostly I just want to get on my way. Okay, so X. Okay, and boat. Oh, I should name my shack. I don't think I ever made a Survival Shack 3. Okay, so Survival Shack 3, and we're going to head south. And the hope is that when we make landfall again, the acacia forest thing is gone. And I see some shallows. So hopefully this ocean isn't too big. Yes, excellent. And then hopefully this will be what we're looking for as far as chickens and all that. It does appear to be dry grass, which is a good sign. The water feels hot. We're in the hot area of the map now. And we lost our boat. I do not know how and why we lost our boat, but we lost it, probably due to lag and the game thinking I ran into the edge of the whatever. That's fine. I'm not complaining. Okay, and there's a mountain forming in the background. That's nice as the rain comes in. But yes, once you get to a certain point, and typically it varies widely from game to game, it does tend to be in the south, you get this dry grass. A different type of grass than up north, and you don't get clay with it. What I'm going to do off camera is I'm going to try to find a chicken, and then I'm going to come up with some rules, and I'm going to put the rules on signs. And I'll join you back home. I think I will allow myself one last free fast travel back home once I find the chickens. So even though you're not going to see the chickens, I'm going to find them, I'm going to show you on the map where they are, and we're going to go get them once we get our tucker bags. And the nice thing about chickens is they fit in a small tucker bag, which means that I don't have to worry about wrought iron buckles. But I'm going to end it here before the lag kills me, so thank you for watching TerraFirmaCraft. We'll see you next time. I look forward to it.